This week on the show, we talk about good legalization versus bad legalization, the High Times Desktop Vaporizer of the Year, and wherever you be, let your wind blow free. Unless you're flying with this guy. Well, not me, right? Why would they put it in the teleprompter for me to point to myself? It's the guy in the story. Don't fly with that guy. Man. Anyways, my name is Tim Stromble, and this is Rooted. Welcome to the show. You know, the past 10 years have been an awakening of sorts for the cannabis industry, with state after state adopting some form of legalized cannabis policy in the face of a federal government seemingly determined to keep cannabis outlawed forever. And while some would say all progress is good progress, there are those in the industry who think some of the more recent legislation, especially out in California, might not be as positive as we would all like to think. And so I thought, let's talk about that on this week's Two Sides. On one hand, it's hard to say all progress is good progress when it comes to legalization because there are a number of states transitioning from a current legal system to a more enhanced system, like California, who recently passed and has moved ahead with full recreational legalization. Many cultivators and cannabis enthusiasts have spoken out recently, saying that this new recreational system isn't necessarily a step back, but a step in the wrong direction, as taxes, fees, the licensing process make it difficult to establish your cultivation, begin a new dispensary, or even sell at affordable prices. I mean, it's certainly a lot of hoops to jump through when you still have the risk of a raid from the federal government looming over your shoulder. It's a big startup cost. I guess California is the most specific example, but we've heard from different cannabis enthusiasts in other states who have similar gripes. In this case, all legalization is not good, and perhaps we should be more cautious and read the fine print on initiatives that we're voting for, instead of just passing legalization because it says cannabis. It's kind of like that old adage, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. On the other hand, many people say progress is progress, and when you're coming from a position of absolute illegality, you would have to say that any step is a step in the right direction, right? Whether it's a small step, like decriminalizing a small amount of cannabis possession, or a larger step, like implementing a fully legal recreational cannabis system. It doesn't have to be the final solution for it to be a positive step. When you pass an initiative or create some form of legalization, you've broken down a barrier that you can now improve on, year after year. It might start with something as small as decriminalization, or be a larger thing, like a flawed recreational system. But you've won the first of what will likely be many small battles before you see a final victory everyone can be happy with. So to the naysayers and people who don't think progressionists is a real thing, I say stop griping and start working on a way to be the change you want to see in the world. You don't like the current system? Create a better one. The journey of 1,000 miles always starts with that first step. So what do you think? Are all forms of cannabis legalization a step forward, or can some forms of legalization actually be a step backwards for your state? Hit up our Facebook page and comment your thoughts, and we'll share the results in a future episode. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Now let's get to business. Of course, our business segment is brought to you by the good folks over at PR420. If you've got news, PR420 wants to help you share it. Hit them up at pressrelease420.com today to get started. This week on the show, I want to tell you about the High Times Cannabis Cup Desktop Vaporizer of the Year producers, Vape Exhale. Vape Exhale designs and manufactures high-end cannabis consumption devices and are best known for their Evo Vaporizer. The Evo uses hot air to evenly, efficiently, and thoroughly unveil aromatic healing properties of your flower. Relaxing and therapeutic elements are activated with precision to produce robust aromas and vibrant flavors. The Evo's heater core is even encapsulated in glass to provide the purest air path possible. This combination of superior taste and purity provides the user with a flavor profile unmatched by any other aromatherapy device. Vape Exhale places an emphasis on the user experience, the taste, the smoothness, and the potency of the vapor, offering the only convection-based concentrate device on the market today. To learn more about Vape Exhale, visit vapeexhale.com or tune into the Rooted Podcast, episode 47. We had their CEO on just a couple of weeks ago. You can find it on iTunes or SoundCloud or stayrooted.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the show. This week on the Rooted Podcast, we talk with Dave Gostenhofer, co-founder and art director for Genetic Threads, a monthly box club for their buds. Each month, Genetic Threads collaborates with a different cannabis breeder or cultivator to craft one-of-a-kind apparel perfectly tailored to the average cannabis enthusiast, you. Dave is also the founder and boss man over at Shirts on Tap, a very successful monthly box club that caters to the craft beer world. You gotta check them out. Dave joins the show to share the unique idea that is Genetic Threads and how he hopes to use this company to close the gap between cannabis producers and consumers so that you can know much more about where your favorite cannabis products come from. Dave is also a former U.S. Marine who drove tanks, so of course we talked about how awesome that was as well. Here's a sneak peek.
Our goal with Genetic Threads is to feature and spotlight breeders and genetic groups that have been behind the scenes building this industry, turning it into what it is today, and for the most part, go unrecognized and stuff like that. And I think what you'll see here in the near future is multiple shirt designs. So instead of just having one design every month, you'll have a few to pick from. Definitely, we're going to continue with customization options, variety options, and we're also going to be building out a web store where we're going to have more of a retail space as well and offer stuff like hats, variety of hats and sweatshirts and all sorts of different products and promotional products and things like that. So, in short, a lot more designs, a lot more collaborations with breeders and groups and companies and artists, and a lot more variety.
Don't forget to download and subscribe to the Rooted Podcast on iTunes or SoundCloud to get the latest episodes, and leave us a nice review if you like the show. We'd appreciate it. Lastly, before we get you out of here, we have to share with you our favorite thing this week, which comes to us from up above. No, not God, but an airplane where a Transavia Airlines flight going from Dubai to Amsterdam had to make an emergency landing in Vienna because of a passenger who decided to cut loose. A little too loose, you might say. The man reportedly ripped fart after fart until two passengers sitting nearby had had enough and an altercation broke out. It really makes you wonder, was it the sound, was it the smell, or was it the combination of both? A real dual threat. Now, I don't care about the rest of the story. That's enough to make it my favorite thing this week. Insert all your bad jokes right here, right? I mean, I've heard of snakes on the plane, but when are they going to make this movie? Man, that cabin pressure really gets to your colon, right? Does this count as enough of an emergency to use my oxygen mask? I mean, are the flight attendants leaving out that warning? Oh, in case of terrible gas, the oxygen mask will drop from the ceiling. Be sure to put your mask on before assisting others, as you'll want to inhale as little of the farts as possible. I mean, you have to imagine this guy's going to tell the story of his terrible gas for the rest of his life, right? I know I would. I've never had gas that bad to where a plane's had to make an emergency landing, but I think that's Guinness Book of World Records worthy. Okay, I'm done with my terrible jokes, okay? But farts are always going to be funny to me. Anyways, that's going to do it on the show. Quick reminder to hit us up on stayrooted.com, check out more show content, like our social pages, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next week, I'm Tim Strombo, reminding you to work hard, be humble, and stay rooted.